Samantha from Jessima Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a cute pair of spiral earrings using the torn watercolor technique with polymer clay. Now I'm going to be using Primo today, and I'm using white and black Primo. These were both rolled out on the middle setting of my pasta machine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stack those, and I don't need all of this. I've just got enough so that I can trim away the extra, and you can trim it all away, and then you can just pop those back into your solid colours. That's not waste. Then you're going to take this and you're going to roll it out on the middle setting again to stretch the clay out. Okay, and this is what you should have. Alright, then from that point you can colour it with acrylic paint or mica powder. In this case I'm going to be using acrylic paint, and I'm going to be using metallic acrylic paint, and these are the colours that I'm using. I'm using Eclipse, Copper, and let me have a look, which one is this one? Berry. And you'll see that they're two different brands, but that's perfectly fine. You don't have to use the same brand for all of your colours. Just find the colours that you think work nicely. And of course you can use, there we go, you can use mica powder or any kind of powder that you want. You could also use alcohol inks if you would prefer to use that. So yeah, any way that you want to colour the clay. I'm just dabbing that paint around, and try not to apply too much, because generally I end up applying too much paint and then it takes forever to dry. But you're going to apply that paint onto the white side of the clay. Okay, then just take a brush and start dabbing that around. I'm going to work with one colour, particularly this darker purple, and I'm going to move that to where I want, and then I'm going to clean the brush so that I don't end up mixing the other colours too much. There we go, just going to clean that off. Then I'm going to move to the lighter purple and spread that around, and just blend the colours however you wish. You can go with a really abstract messy pattern like I'm going with, or you could be a little more deliberate. You could even silk screen a pattern directly on if you wanted something very specific. You can colour this however you want, but just continue playing around with it until you are happy with the pattern, and then you're going to leave that until it is completely dry. Okay, and here is how it looks once I've let it dry for about half an hour. And the time at which it's going to need to dry will depend on how thick of a layer of paint you placed on. Now, I don't think this is completely dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of paper and get this a burnish, and I'm going to use this to get rid of any like paint puddles that might still be kind of wet, and this will also just kind of press the paint into the clay surface as well. And I'll lift that up, and there were a few little bubbles, and I actually like the effect. If you don't like the effect, then just leave it until it is completely dry. But this is a way to make sure it is fully dry before you move on to the next step. And that is to take a piece of translucent that has been rolled out on the thinnest setting on your pasta machine, and to take that and place that over the surface of the clay. And I smooth it down from one side to the other, and then back again to really get rid of as many of those air bubbles as I can, and then I'm going to put it through the pasta machine to thin it out even further. I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to run it through on the middle setting, and then I'm going to take it down 2 more settings so that I thin it out to roughly 0.5 millimeter thick. Like so. And you just trim off the extra. Then place that through the pasta machine. Okay, and here is how that looks. Now, my translucent was a little dry, and so I did end up with some crackles, which can be a cool effect. So if you want to intentionally do that, then just use a slightly dry piece of translucent. If you don't want that, then just make sure that the translucent is quite flexible before doing this step. Then I'm going to cut this in half, because this is going to be a double-sided pair of earrings. And this side I am going to just take that, and that's what's going to be our first side. So grab your piece of paper, and I'm going to flip that, and then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to proceed to create the watercolor, which is going to be to just pick off pieces from here and lay them down onto that piece of clay. And just slightly overlap them, because that is what's going to create the effect. Okay, and then it will be double-sided. And just continue doing that until you use up your entire piece of clay. Okay, and here is how it looks once I've finished. And you'll notice, especially if your translucent was dry and was crackling before, it will add a really nice effect to this. You can see quite a couple of cracks in there, and that just adds to the effect. Now what I'm going to do is I would recommend actually using your roller to start this off with. And the reason for that is because I really want to emphasize the kind of black and white lines that we've got going on over here. So what you want to do is, these are all laying like scales this way. You want to go in the opposite direction, so you want to go against the grain and roll in that direction. It's very important to go against the grain to get the kind of white and black outlines to show up more. If you go with the grain, the clay will kind of fold over in that direction, and it will end up hiding the black and white lines more. So if that's an effect that you want to go with, then by all means you can do that, but in this case that's not something I want to do. Then once you've done that, then I would recommend grabbing a piece of paper and then just giving it a general burnish to flatten out the rest of the bumps. Okay, and there we go. That is how it should look. And from there you can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to do what I'm going to show in this video. You can absolutely just use this slab to cut out a bunch of earring shapes. But today I'm going to show you how to make twirl earrings. So what you're going to want to do is just grab that and just smooth it onto the tile or any work surface that you're using so that it is stuck down. And then you're going to want a long triangle cutter, and I'm going to be using one of the 3 from this set. I'm going to be using this one, which is the middle one. And if you're looking for those, I sell them on my Etsy store, Jessima Design. And what they're going to do is they're going to allow me to cut out this nice long triangle shape. And I'm just making sure that I get a good clean cut the whole way along, like so, and then cut it again. And these work well for things like bookmarks. You could even make wind chimes with them. That is something that I actually want to do in the future. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to make wind chimes with polymer clay, and if you would like to see that. But for now, what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to make some twirl earrings. Popping that to the side, pick these guys up. It's okay if they distort a little bit, but what you want to do is, because we were cutting through paint, there will be tufts along the side of your piece, and you want to just go down and tap those to remove them. If there was no paint in your project, then there wouldn't be any of those. But you just want to take care of that first, because there's not going to be any sanding, just because the shape is going to be too complex to do that. So you want to make sure that everything is finished off as well as you can before shaping it. And to shape it, you're going to want a long tube. A metal straw would work quite well. This is a long metal mandrel. And you're going to take one of these pieces and you're going to position it right at the top. You can either have it straight, or I prefer to have it at a little bit of an angle. You're going to press that down, curling that around the tube, not completely, just enough to get the curl going. And then you're going to grab that, and I'm just finding the right position here, there we go, grab that, and then twirl the clay around the tube like so, in a loose spiral like so, and that is going to create the earring shape, and it's going to get baked like that. And that's why you're going to need either a metal tube or a wooden one. Metal's better because the clay will stick to it and create less of a fuss, but that's essentially what you want. Then you're going to do the same on the other side for the other earring that we've got, and then you're going to bake that for a full hour at your brand's recommended temperature. In this case I'm using Primo, so I would bake it at that temperature, and then allow it to cool before taking it off of the mandrel, because the clay should be slightly flexible when it comes out of the oven, so you don't want to disrupt the shape. But there, I'm going to pop that into the oven. Okay, and once it's cooled and out of the oven, here is how they look. And it's going to look a little different to what it did before it was baked. You're going to see that those colours will have sharpened up a bit, will have a bit more vibrancy to them, and that's because the translucent, once it's baked, will clear up quite a bit. It mostly just serves as a, it enhances the depth, and it also protects the paint a little more than what the varnish will protect it. So it's just a nice to have, but it also creates a lot of depth. Now, when this came out of the oven, it was quite hot, so I just popped it in a sink of water to cool it down quickly. And then you should be able to twist it and have that come straight off. And you can see there, it should be a little flexible, but in general, firm enough to hold its shape. You repeat with the other one, and that will come straight off. And there we go, those are the two earrings. Very nice and simple. Now there is a little bit of stuff around the edges that I'm not completely happy with. So what I will do is I'll go with a craft knife and just scrape a little bit, because I can't really get sandpaper in there to get a completely clean finish. And just scraping with the craft knife generally does the trick. Then once I've done that, I will show you how to drill the holes. Okay, and then once you're done with that, you're good to drill them. And I generally will drill them right on the point at the thickest end. And I'll just use a handheld pin drill to do that. And you could drill it bracing it against the tile, but I find it easier with pieces that aren't completely flat to brace it against my finger. And that's as easy as it is. You just drill straight through with a nice little hole, and you want to go through a couple of times just to clean it out so that you don't have any of this polymer clay dust in it. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to do at this point. Though what I am going to do is I am going to varnish these, because I want to give it a shiny finish. At this point you do not have to, because the paint is protected by the translucent clay, So if you want to skip the varnish, you could absolutely do that. But I think I want to give it a varnish. And to do that, I'm going to pop these onto a little wire because I'm going to dip them in a pot of varnish. And the varnish that I use is Varnishing gloss varnish. It is a floor finish and is water based. Then once you've got that, you also want to make sure that you have a little basket ready, and that's where they're going to get suspended from. You would just pop the wire around like that, and then they can sit there like that. While the varnish is drying, you do want to be present for about 5 minutes to catch any drips. But yeah, that's what you want ready to go. And this is the pot of varnish. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these and I'm going to slowly suspend it. Don't dip it all in at once because you'll catch air bubbles. Or you'll create air bubbles anyway. This makes sure that it gets a nice even coat. You suspend it the whole way in. And then just like you put it in, you want to draw it out. Slowly, and I can see there's a little air bubble there. But just drawing out slowly means that the varnishing can drain a little bit. Then I actually leave it suspended over the pot for a little while to catch most of the excess varnish. That way I don't end up wasting too much of it. Then I'll transfer it over to the basket. Okay, and then you transfer it over to the basket. As I showed before, you pin the wire around the edges like that, and then you leave it suspended, and then just every minute or so just dab the bottom with a baby wipe, and that will soak up a lot of the extra varnish. You don't need to go and tap it anywhere else, just along the bottom where the drips are going to accumulate. And you'll do that for about 5 minutes, and then you can just leave it for half an hour to completely dry. Okay, and here is how they should look once they're dry. So you can see it's given it a shiny finish. It's not going to be completely smooth and glass-like. If you want that, then give it around 2 to 3 coats of varnish. But for this, I just wanted it to match the back. Now, I'm going to just grab a jump ring and an ear wire, and it's as simple as opening that up, slipping that through the hole that you already made, and there might be a little bit of varnish that needs to be pushed through there, so just clean that up around the edge there. There we go. And then apply the ear wire and close the jump ring. It's as simple as that. Then you'll repeat the process with the other one. And there we go. That's how they should look. So yeah, very nice and simple, but I would say quite an effective effect for a pair of earrings. Something also I was thinking of while doing this tutorial is that you could use this same shape and project essentially to create a wind chime, which I think would be something quite nice to try out. So let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in seeing that. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today's tutorial. If you enjoyed it, please do let me know in the comments below. If you have suggestions, also leave them down there and I will see to them as soon as possible. And if you'd like to support the channel so I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a patron or a member of the channel. They're both the same. There is a join button just below the video, so if you can consider checking that out, it would be greatly appreciated. But also leaving a like on the video also helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated. And again, thank you for watching the video. I do hope that it was helpful and that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.